in the middle of Lake Michigan with who? Rockford?
Yeah, Rockford, WIFR television. News broadcast. All the weather. Going, hey, let's look at the weather map. Let's look at the weather outside. We're doing the weather outside.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah, it was great.
So we're really the second live stream.
Yeah.
The first full show. Yeah, we got to be first at something, right?
Yeah.
Were you on their show too?
I was. It's so early in the morning that I believe so. I was on a little bit of it. I think I was on the shore. And I think on the ship then I put Captain Dan. So.
Okay. Well, we see.
We've
upgraded you now, big fella.
Yeah. And
That's
on
all
TV
good.
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the closest one.
All right,
Good now?
you guys can all hear me?
Yep.
Aaron, you can hear me?
I can.
And you're the executive vice president.
The senior vice president.
Senior.
Senior, yes. I'm the only one, but I've been here the longest.
So that makes you the senior status, then? Is that what that does?
Yes, picture's good. Yep. Yeah, I think that works well. And honestly, Kim, and I think just being relaxed back like this will be just fine. So, no, it's not cut off too much or anything like that. So,
No.
You ready to bring us in, Nick?
Absolutely, brother. I
Okay.
am ready.
I'll give you a count in.
Okay.
Hold on. Fix my microphone. Should be good to go. Volume is good. Bring that up. Do that.
I'll turn it over to you to introduce our special guest.
Sure,
I'll
we
do,
can
I'll
do
do the
that.
interview. Then
Sure,
Joe,
sure.
we got a special guest with us today.
Okay. Give us a 5 count. And 1 second. Make sure Aaron is ready.
What's up, big guy?
Yeah, give us a 5 count in.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Sailor Nation Sports, and we are on the air with season number 7. And if the Sailors are going to start off with a record of 1-0, and it's not going to happen in Michigan, my friend, where are we off to today?
We are crossing the pond.
The big pond.
Big pond. We're not just talking about Lake Lake.
No, or Mosquito Lake. Yeah, we are on the Lake Express, and this is a special year for the Lake Express as well, isn't it?
It's 20th operating year, and with them the entire time is our first special guest of the morning, Mr. Eric Schultz, Senior Vice President. Thanks for coming on with us. Thanks for having me. Yeah, and honestly, thanks for what a series of events that put sailors on this boat, and it changed a lot of things, including a trophy in front of you. You put.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And you can't be sailors if you're driving from Chicago.
No, not at all.
But here we are on the Lake Express, and we're on our way over to Milwaukee. We'll take a bus up to Manitowoc, take on the Manitowoc ships in a couple of days. So tomorrow, 8 o'clock our time, 7 o'clock their time. But before we get there, we get across this lake thanks to here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And this is my first time on Lake Express. You know, I see it from the beach when I'm laying out every day, but this is quite a vessel. Tell us a little bit about your history with it and the boat and some details.
Sure, we're actually the first high-speed auto passenger ferry operated in the United States. We're a unique piece of technology that we're an update on the old slow boats. And we're more like a jet ski. We got water jets that push us along 12,000 horsepower. And our goal is to go as close to 40 miles an hour across the lake as possible. Get you over there and get you off. So you can do the things you want to do while you're ready for that boat.
Get you there. Real comfort, no matter where you sit. Coach class or here. It's a great, comfortable ride. Obviously, a lot of that is dictated by the conditions like which this has been pretty comfortable so far. I would say you'd know more than me. Is this about what it's going to be like ride over?
It's going to be a really nice day. So we'll go 78 miles today on our route, 2.5 hours. Quick. And then once we get there, we walk right off. Cars drive right.
Well, you know, one thing that I wanted to do is every time I'm laying out here, and you know I do it every day for vitamin D therapy session, is as soon as you get out of the entrance to the harbor, you just put the hammer down and it just goes. So I made sure I was in the back because I just wanted to see what it was like. So he puts in, and you know, you get a little jolt, and I mean, it really there's a lot to get up and go.
Hold on tight.
Oh my God, yeah. And then I heard a couple cars out there that, you know, the horns are beeping on and on.
They get a little jostle and they whistle for a second.
Oh my God, that was so cool. Yeah, that was amazing. So 20 years. Tell us a little bit. I mean, you and I were chatting a little bit about this. Is your best summer or best July that you've ever had in the 20 years?
Yeah, absolutely. We've had tremendous enthusiasm. I think people's priorities probably reset a little bit with COVID. they went from thinking that a trip that wasn't far away in an airplane wasn't a good enough trip, and they kind of, I think, fell back in love with things closer to home, and especially West Michigan. People maybe weren't so daring, went over there and realized that the things that they had been traveling many hours away for were right here. So we've been very fortunate, and people have continued those travel habits.
And you tend to take for granted a little bit some of the uniqueness that exists around in your area. So the Lake Express is a unique opportunity. Even if you don't need to get across the lake. If you get on the Lake Express, it's a unique opportunity to travel. Even if it's just to go over, spend a little bit of time and come back, you can say you've been on the Lake Express.
Even crossing Lake Michigan for people is a bucket list item.
Yeah.
You say, I want to be out there. You get to the middle of the lake, it's so wide open you can see the curvature of the earth out there.
Yeah.
And you blow around in the wind too, so you get a couple thrills at once.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I got a question. So you've got the Badger up in Ludington. What was it about Muskegon that was the big interest to start the Lake Express from Muskegon versus down maybe a little bit farther, like Benton Harbor or something like that?
Well, the goal is to be situated in a way that you offer a time savings versus driving around. So a little further north. Milwaukee and Muskegon were a traditional port pairing, and you see by our
they were
dock,
back. With the Clipper back in the day.
You still see the Milwaukee Clippers dock
Right.
there as a museum now, but
Yep.
that ship
Right.
ran so much slower that it took almost 6 hours to cross.
Oh.
So what we needed to do was find something that was the appropriate technology, so you save time, but also find a route where people said, you know what? We find a lot with the European travelers and people from further away. They look at the map and they say there should be something there. It's too far for a bridge, but we're the bridge.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense, and you've been very successful here. I mean, it's I just watched the line of cars and people. It's packed.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wonderful endeavor.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about your history with this. Again, you've been with the company for 20 years.
Yep.
Since its inception, really.
Absolutely.
And there's gotta be a lot of pride, but a lot of work to continue to move over 2 decades worth of travel.
Yeah, there was a spirit of entrepreneurial, drive here. There was a sense of, I think, coming up with something that really, in some ways, people said couldn't be done. A new ship, a new route. What are you guys doing there? And so we have a lot of pride in that. And also, we had a few years in the beginning where we were kind of making it up as we went along. For all the studies, for all the plans, for all the manuals you write, for all the training you do, it doesn't always survive. Your game plan. Not that we're putting the customers as in the opponent chair, but when people start showing up and behaving the way they do rather than the way you planned for them, you have to make those adjustments. And in sports, you know that as well. But in the ferry business too, you got to do the halftime adjustment. So we spent some time here, the first few years dialing that in, and I think people feel that we're very efficient in it. We're very happy with that.
So 20 years worth of travel. That takes in a lot of special events on both sides of the lake.
Yep.
You had to have had some pretty famous people come on here. Anybody that you know of, like super famous actors, musicians, that kind of stuff?
We had John Kerry when he was running for president was here.
Okay.
Oh.
We were involved with the filming of Batman versus Superman. So if you watch closely in that movie, the longer cut where Clark Kent is leaning on the railing, and that's the Lake Express. Clark Kent is on the Lake Express contemplating his career in journalism because everybody's mad at Superman and everybody's mad at him at work. And that was us. We took the ship down to Chicago and we did that filming. We're in a lot of other TV shows. We're in the American Pickers where the guys go around and find antiques. Yeah. We're in an episode of that. One called Wisconsin Foodie where they try cheese in Wisconsin and then they go to Detroit to see the real Detroit, the Detroit style pizza. We did a home improvement show that will be on the Magnolia Network next year.
Oh,
that
really?
I'm not supposed to talk about, but I just did. But,
that's okay.
But they'll do the promotion on that later.
Well, we have about 4.3 million viewers, so
right.
People can keep watching that network until it comes on, and then they'll know what we've done with them. But it's very exciting, and I think we had a congressman on this morning who was leaving the Republican debates in Milwaukee.
Oh.
So
did you really?
Yeah. So I always listen very closely because you don't know who you're going to meet. We've had German travel groups and Asian travel groups this last week. So you meet people literally from all over the world on the show.
That's one of the things that we've noticed too, even with doing Sailor Nation Sports Network, is you never know when and who you're going to make an influence on. So try to
Absolutely.
put your best foot forward every opportunity that you get. So
Yeah, and we really cherish that ability to introduce people to Milwaukee, to introduce people to West Michigan, and say, look, here's what we love about both of our port cities. We've got an urban one, and we've got one that is really kind of a beach paradise and all these.
Absolutely a beach. Did you hear that, Joe?
yeah,
Beach paradise.
Anybody
yes,
in this
exactly.
room would know it.
The,
would
the,
be
sell-
Well,
the
but I don't
selling
know
point
the term.
sometimes is there's nothing to do in West Michigan, and that's exactly what you're after. Lay on the
Exact-
beach, climb a dune, go enjoy the peak.
Go
Get
to the
outdoors,
beach, get some
relax.
natural vitamin D therapy sessions in, and you're fine. It's all positive. It's all now you can just add live streaming to Sailor Nation Sports on that list of
This is
people
where it's
that have
at.
been,
Yeah, we might have to
With
carve
that
out a
s-
studio here and do everything every day.
Exactly. You know,
Might get
with
a lot
that
of
said, too, 30 plus states, 12 to 15 different foreign countries. We have now made you global.
Yeah,
I
you're-
just
you're
want you to know
global
you're not local anymore, buddy.
Yep.
Yep, and it's
Big
all
time.
good.
I'm going to start getting
Yeah.
recognized.
Yes, you are.
So your offices are over in Wisconsin.
They are
over
in Milwaukee, yeah.
Yep. How often do you get to come over and see the Muskegon side of the operation?
It varies. I looked a couple of years ago. I did my numbers, and I'd crossed Lake Michigan north of 300 times.
Oh.
So it's sometimes
Wow.
I get over not as often as I'd like, but I do try to work an overnight in and take a camping trip, take a long bike ride or something, and do work
Good
and
for
then
you. Yeah.
disappear a little bit and enjoy it.
What's your favorite thing to do over in the Muskegon area or the West Michigan area? Do you have a favorite?
I camp a lot.
Yeah.
And I think people don't realize how great the state parks are.
100%.
And so I camp and either pack stuff up on a bicycle and do that bike touring, or I have kind of a car camping setup as well. And so I'll go,
Wow.
I go up to even to Traverse, spend a night, and then just kind of, especially a little bit later in the season, earlier in the season, you can kind of drive around, roam around, explore, and see what you see. I've been to Saugatuck this year. I've spent time in Holland, Grand Haven, Muskegon, of course, and then I've gone north to Traverse City this year.
Speaking about the season, how long does your season went start to finish?
So we usually start about a week into May, and then we end our season about a week from the end of October. So about 6 months.
Oh.
But we try to do it just as people are getting a little bit warmer, getting used to
Yeah,
getting
and
out.
the seas are a little bit better, too.
Yeah, and then the fall it gets a little dark and cold, and people again say, I'd maybe rather just be on the couch and watch Netflix than be
Yeah,
out on a lake.
amen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, for sure. So tell us about how the relationship went with Coach Koziak and the Mona Shore School. It was kind of a last-minute thing to jump on here. Manitowoc being the home of the Badger, it was
Yep.
kind of one of those things where, from a logistics perspective, it happened to make the most sense on our side of the.
Yeah.
But of course, the failure of the Badger, obviously, I'm sure that you've seen an uptick as well with some of your stuff. But we really needed it. So
Yeah.
how did that come about? How did the
Well, we
discussions go?
got the call, and we really looked at what we were able to do. And one of the keys was that you had a lot of people, and you didn't have everybody bringing a car with them.
Right.
We have our car deck is full right now.
Yep.
Actually,
It's limited to how many?
we carry today. We have I think 46 cars on. We'll book 44, and then we do a standby to say, if everybody shows up in a big, long Suburban or something like that, we don't always have room for extras. But if people show up with kind of average-sized cars, there's always room for a couple more at the end. So even when we're sold out, we can usually squeeze a couple more in.
I gotcha.
So
Oh,
46
that's-
today. There's a number of motorcycles. I didn't get the count, but we can do, 12 motorcycles, 44 cars, a couple dozen bicycles fit in there. And then we
Wow.
can carry 248 people on the passenger deck, and we're awfully close to that today. As
Yeah.
you look around, it's pretty packed. But it's
Yeah.
in the summer also people spend time outside. So even if you sell the seats out, people are outside, and those
Sure,
those seats
sure.
are not ticketed.
Absolutely.
So it gets a little roomier.
We talked about the possibility, maybe of seeing the captain come down and maybe talk with the captain later. But these kinds of conditions outside, very foggy, I can absolutely understand why they would want to be up
Where
there
they
making
are,
sure
yeah.
and
Absolutely.
navigation requirements, they need to be there. So with that being said, what's the worst weather you'll travel in? Like, do you ever have to cancel because of?
We will cancel in high wave situations, around 6-7 feet.
Okay.
And the determining factor there is how close the waves are, what the direction is.
Oh, sure.
But also you got to remember we're going almost 40 miles an hour. Going 5 miles an hour on 6-foot waves will rock you to sleep. Going 40 miles an hour through waves is like, driving over speed bumps in your car on the way home. You can maybe do one, but if you're going to do 100 of them, you're going to be sorry.
So
for
if
it.
the waves are coming out of the west and you're riding with the waves,
we will either cut through them or be pushed by them along.
Right.
Which is not the end of the world. But
No.
if they're coming from the north, there's nothing you can do but rock back and
Oh,
forth.
right, yeah.
And that's a difficult one for us.
and
Or-
the same way with the south too. Then if they're big, but they're rarely that
Yeah,
big out
or-
of the south, out of the north though.
Yep,
You
there's
have bigger
another
waves.
condition called confused seas where the wind is really strong, but it turns. So that's almost like shaking up your water bottle irregularly.
Sure,
and
sure.
the water goes every which way, and that nobody can get comfortable because they don't even know what direction. So
No,
we look for
right,
those
yeah.
conditions.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. So, Joe brought up a good point. Technologically speaking, with the boat, do you see any major modifications that need to be done to the boat? Now, the boat's 20 years old.
The hull itself is completely sound. We were in the shipyard this last off season. Every 5 years we take it out, we do the inspection.
Oh, okay.
We paint, we coat, we take the water jets off and overhaul them. You can't do those obviously when you're in the water because you put a hole in the hull.
This is
when
true.
you take
That
those
wouldn't be
things
good.
off.
Yeah.
The instrumentation, the pilot house, the radars and things like that, those were renewed a few years ago. So as you look at, one of the challenges for me as a marketer, I have to say, you know what, now I have to redo all the photos because everything's different. The first year we had these kind of monochrome square monitors. Now, if you've been up there, we have these widescreen digital displays that have the weather animated over the top of them. They can do any of a number of things. Very high tech. You would say if I envisioned a high-tech ship from a TV show or a movie, it would look like our bridge because that's what's up there.
Really?
The newest and
I'd
really
like to go up to the bridge and
top
see
of the
that.
line
I think it'd
things.
be pretty cool.
Yeah, even the seating areas here. We redid the seating a few years ago. So
Okay.
everything gets renewed. So
Kevin,
we-
would you take a look? Just kind of scroll through here. This is the premier seating, obviously, because we needed the room to be able to set up. But even the coach seating is very comfortable out
Yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah.
It's nothing to really worry about. But Kim is going to take a look and kind of show off the premier seating a little bit. And I know they come back here. There's some added perks where they take some drink orders and bring them to you, that sort of thing with this area. How many people do you see taking advantage of this part of the ship?
Well, the advantage of the premier cabin for some people is that it's children aren't allowed back here. So for some people that's enough. But we also have the steward service.
How did you get back here?
Yeah, this is true. Yeah. Pulled some strings.
You got the Starlink Wi-Fi high-speed internet, which
we are enjoying right now.
Yeah,
and
it's
you and
incredible.
Sailor Nation Sports Network are able to enjoy as well.
Yeah.
So.
That was a big leap for us. We put that in about a year ago, and before that we had a slower internet with a big bubble on the roof, and now you can do streaming and all sorts of things, and that helps. But people like to work, and people, you're obviously working right now on board the ship.
And we, I don't know if we haven't really talked about it too much. Rockford, Illinois, I think is what you said was on earlier in the summer, doing some weather broadcasts from here.
Yeah, on the morning news from the middle of the lake. And that as far as I know, that has never been done before by any ship, but certainly it was a first for us.
Well,
And
then
here
we're
we
the
are.
first Michigan affiliate doing
that you're aware
anything.
of. Yep. And
Well,
the
somebody's
first
gotta
full
be
live
first.
show going on right here in the premier section of the Lake Express as we are on our way over to Milwaukee, where we'll head north up to Manitowoc and enjoy some football tomorrow, opening up the Sailors season here, Team 61. And, Aaron, thank you very much for being on here, starting off our show. It's been a pleasure having you on. We love talking about the Lake Express, and we can't thank you enough for the amenities that you've rolled out for us to be able to do this show. So
absolutely. It's
we
good to have you all on
appreciate it.
board.
Buddy, it was a pleasure and honor to meet you. Thank you so very much.
Got my cord.
We're going to take a quick break, and I believe next is going to be Coach Koziak and new athletic director Jack Numador. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, we're off.
From truck beds to bed beds, we've got your home and auto covered. Combine your home and auto with Lake Michigan Insurance Agency, and you could save $650. That's like 325 gallons of gas, or 21 sets of comfy sheets. So, trust our experts to find the perfect amount of coverage for you, making sure you're covered when you need it and how you need it. We shop a variety of insurance providers. industry leaders like Citizens and Frankenmuth Insurance to make sure you get the highest quality coverage at the lowest possible rate. In Muskegon County, trust Ryan Rozicki to start a quote for you today. Visit Ryan at our Norton Avenue office in the Park Place Shopping Center near Goodwill and Pites and Courts Restaurant, or visit lmcu.org/insurance to get started.
Located right off the shores of Lake Michigan, it features many delicious meals along with excellent service and a family-friendly atmosphere. Breakfast is served all day, open 7 days a week, both dine-in and takeout available. Quality ingredients, endless options. Lakeside Cafe. Looking to buy or sell? Look no further than our broadcast booth sponsor, John Vandervelde at Nexus Realty. Give him a call at 231-759-3634 or go see him at 880 West Broadway Avenue in Muskegon. Nexus Realty, team-based real estate professionals.
He wants to know what
Number one source for fan gear, corporate and team sales, trophies, awards, and more. Visit them in their new showroom, right next door from their old showroom on Henry Street. If it can be logoed, they're your resource. Your brand is their business. Yep, that's it right there. Yeah, that's, you haven't seen it yet. That's right. Yeah, we had to, that was the last minute change, so we gotta be careful because that's a little slippery. So let's put it that's your headset right there. Check out the volume on this picture.
respect the old man gets. God, she's wonderful. Yeah, okay.
I can turn it
just for compliments. Yeah, I'm ready.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sailor Nation Sports. We are on the Lake Express. We're crossing the Big Pond, otherwise known as Lake Michigan, for a football game. And, Joe, we got some special guests today right with us here.
Yeah, and as special as it gets for the opening day of the football season, Coach Koziak, head coach of the varsity football team, and newly appointed athletic director, Jack Numidor. Thanks, guys, for joining us.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being on this boat with us.
How
That's
cool is this?
super
Yeah,
cool for you guys to be
Yeah,
here.
well,
We
it's
just
an
got
honor.
done talking with Aaron Schultz from the Lake Express, and he said it's only been done one time before where there's been a broadcast that he's aware of anywhere in the middle of Lake Michigan. And it was just a weather report that they did.
Yeah, so he's
this
never had a
literally-
live show before.
Yeah, this is
so
the first
you know,
live
we're
show
first.
that's been in the middle of Lake Michigan. Can you
Yeah,
believe this?
yeah,
We are
that's
in
kinda
the middle
cool.
of live. So let's talk about this trip. Man, it started off last year. Manitowoc came over to Mona Shores, and we won. It was the Battle of the Badger back then. It's a similar trophy, but we were expected to go over this year on the Badger, and things didn't go the Badgers' way for us to do that. So we had to make some switches real quick. Tell us about
So
that.
that was a stressful time for a second because of when it happened. You know, it was in July, I think, when the Badger had their complications, and we were told at one point they thought it would be up and running August 6th. So we're like, all right, let's stick with that. And then we kind of found out. I think I found out via like MLive or Facebook or something that the Badger is done for the season, and I was wondering, well, maybe they just mean everybody else, not us, right? They're still going to bring us. So
Yeah.
then I found out, and so then we kind of get into scramble mode with Jack, and we're trying to find, we looked into buses.
Yep.
We looked into, we actually, believe it or not, looked into flying a jet. A private jet across like Ferris would or something like that, and that was a little bit pricey. But just coming down Friday and coming back Friday, and I got a call from the Rand Thomas, who's kind of like a liaison over at on the Wisconsin side. She helped us with hotels, and so she was like, "Hey, what's your budget? I'm going to look around," and so she did a ton of calls for us. Super good job. Anyways, the Lake Express kind of stepped up. It is a little bit more expensive than the Badger, but they kind of met us halfway, and we flipped some things around. We were originally going to come on Wednesday and stay a couple nights, but we couldn't do that just with what our budget was. But so we decided to come today. The Lake Express is much faster. The Badger went right into Manitowoc.
Yeah,
Right,
literally a few
right.
miles from where the high school was.
Correct.
There, right?
And so now that's not, we're coming into Milwaukee, but Manitowoc is bringing their school buses to pick us up, bring us back hour north, and then kind of get the ball rolling. So that's kind of where we were with, it wasn't just, hey, we're getting on the Badger, we're going to cross play a game. So, but everybody kind of stepped up and helped out. So now we're just, hopefully smooth sailing, literally smooth sailing.
Yeah,
smooth
literally.
sailing.
Hey, Matt, go back to last year. Fill us in. How did this relationship start? Because we've got some new people listening, and it sounds like this is going to be the last year of, that we're going to be able to do it. Number one, it's costly.
Yes.
Number one, and we're going to pick up some other teams within the state. How did your relationship start with Manitowoc?
So it's an interesting story. I'll try to keep it as brief as I can, but I was not the mastermind behind this at all. It was totally the head coach of Manitowoc, Coach Greg Entz. How the connection happened was when Brian Sickinga, our offensive line coach, was working in the UP a matter of a couple years ago. He knew a guy, and I don't know his name, met a guy up there who now is at Lincoln. Well, Coach Entz at Lincoln, Manitowoc wanted to bring some excitement back to the program and get people excited about football. So he came up with, what if we took the Badger across and played a team in Michigan, and kind of reached out to some schools. And I think some schools said, hey, we just can't do it. Either we're already in a contract, or, that
It's costly.
It's costly, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, this sounds awesome. I think it's what a cool, because I think high school football is awesome in itself, but I think you can build things around it, you guys, and trips like this, playing in the big house,
having a trophy game,
stuff like that. And I think so kids can say, hey, when I was in high school,
Right.
and so it was originally supposed to happen. The first year was the COVID year.
Yep.
And if you remember, the first 3 games got canceled that
Correct.
year, so we weren't able to do it. The following year, Lincoln came over, and now we're doing it. And I've never been on the Lake Express.
I never had either.
Never
so
been
it's-
across
yeah.
the big lake on it. So I'm sure a lot of our kids haven't either. So what a cool experience! I'm super excited. And on top of it, we get to play a football game tomorrow. So that'll be fun.
football in the middle of all
Yes.
this.
Yeah.
Well,
Getting-
and you know what's funny? Back when I was playing, back before you were twinkling in anybody's eye, you could only travel so far. There were mile restrictions, like
Sure.
200 some miles or something. So back in the day, we could never travel out of state. Now, King's going here.
Yeah.
Muskegon had the Chicago team in. We're going to Wisconsin. Yeah, it's making football exciting again.
Well, I talked to a local historian, Ron Pash, because he's actually writing an article for the MHSAA website about this trip. And I said, has this ever been done before where they've done something? And he said, believe it or not, this used to happen quite a bit in the 1920s.
Really?
Really?
Where high
know
school
that.
teams would go back and forth and play. There used to be like 6, I don't want to get the number wrong, 4 to 6 SS Badgers. And they would, where it wasn't just, you go down at one time and come back at one time. They used to make trips quite a bit. So he was telling me that schools like, I can't remember the schools that did it. And I said, well, and he goes, but that kind of died down and went away. And now it's kind of cool that it's happened. It's literally 100 years later that
Yeah.
we're doing it again. So I just thought that was a neat bit of information.
Yeah, when I was in Ludington last weekend with the family, there's a picture. There used to be 8 ferries just out of Ludington.
Yeah,
so
so 8.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
So, obviously we talked about your kind of role in getting everything going. This kind of fell in the middle of your lap as a brand new AD. Like, you just got promoted. Congratulations, by
Thank
the way. Taking over for Todd Conrad, who moved up to assistant principal. But what a interesting challenge to face the minute that you take over. Welcome to the athletic director
On
position.
top of everything
Figure out how to
else,
get
right.
over to Wisconsin. How did that go for you?
Honestly, Matt says that everybody stepped up, but I don't know that anybody stepped up more than he did. It became an instant stress right away, because it's a high profile thing. We get to go over there. Everybody's interested in what we're doing. Every time that I would talk to Matt, there was already plan B in place, and so I didn't really have to do much with it. It was a nice, easy transition as far as that goes because, I'm always going to rely on the veterans. Being an AD before, you got to learn from those that have done it over and over and over again. Not that we've done this trip over and over again, but plans change on Matt all the time. I mean, that's just the nature of high school sports. So Matt was
canceling.
Matt was
whatever,
ready. I mean,
that kind of stuff, yeah.
I texted him that night that it all came out. He sent me back. I've already talked to buses. I've already talked to possibly flying over there. And I mean, he was already on it. So I can't take any credit for that. Matt killed it. So.
Well, but that's what a good head coach is supposed to do, isn't it? I mean, God, he's
For
a
sure.
high-profile coach.
For sure.
I mean, state
That's why he gets
championship.
paid the big
Oh,
bucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Matt and I were talking earlier before team breakfast, and this has been pretty stressful. Just kind of getting it
Yes.
off the ground and onto
Yeah.
the water and across. We said that you need to, like somebody to just handle your logistics for you, so you can actually just be a football coach.
Oh yeah, I've already got a letter out to Numador. It's in his
Yeah.
mailbox. I was waiting for
I
him
know.
to-
I know. Year 2 will be different for sure.
Yes, yeah.
Season 2 under my belt will be different for sure, which I wouldn't have any other way.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, that's what he is here to do, is coach, and he's changed the culture and everything around Mona Shores. I know he won't take the credit for that stuff, but as long as he's allowed to continue to coach, I want to make it as easy as possible for him. That's my job. So.
Let's talk football. Let's talk
Sure.
the team. Let's talk who's your captains, who's your, what do your key positions and players look
Sure.
like throughout the season? What are you expecting?
So this is Team 61 this year. So 61 years of Mona Shores football, and super excited for our team. We have 34 kids, which people would say, well, you don't have a lot of kids, and you could say that's true, but I'd like to tell people we have 34 football players, and
Right.
the saying goes, you'd rather have 30 lions than 200 sheep, right? So I'm super excited. A lot of kids back from last year. Our team captains this year, voted on by their peers, is Hayden Terpstra, Andrew Baker, Luke Emmons, a 4-year starter for us, and then a junior, Jonathan Pittman, which I thought was a huge honor for him to be a junior and to have that respect from your, not only underclassmen but seniors to vote you. So, great group of captains to pick from. I'm looking forward to this year. We lost to 3 teams last year. 2 of them were in Ford Field playing. One of them lost to, a team that went to Ford Field, and they beat them earlier in Rockford and Caledonia.
Right.
In those 3 games, we had the lead at halftime, or in the second half. So that's great teaching moments for kids to say, hey, 1, you're right there, but 2, we kind of didn't finish. And so that's been kind of our motto this year, is deserve to win. You'll see a lot of hashtags or DTW.
Everybody's been
like
asking
that.
about what does the DTW mean.
Yeah, so that's kind of been our motto this year is, what are we doing today? What have we done in January or February where we're deserving to win those football games? And so our kids have really that's been our rallying cry, and I've just always blown away by our kids, a group of their work in January and in February when no one's watching them and there's not all this excitement about football. And other sports are going on, and that's great too. But this group, I think, is a special group. The coaching staff talks about all the time. I talk about it with my wife, and I say, I really get excited to come to practice and coach this group. And you can't. I haven't been able to say that about all the groups I've coached. Obviously you have some really great kids on a lot of really great teams, but there's something special about this group where I enjoy. This is my 23rd year as a coach, my 14th year as a head coach, and I'm excited to come work with these guys. And so I think that's been, and they genuinely like each other. Which, I was at the Terpstra's house working on logistics for this trip. They have a pool, and we're in the backyard, and we're kind of, all right, here, we need these meals, yada, yada, yada. And next thing you know, 3 of Hayden Terpstra's friends come over, and then 4 more, and they're all football players, and every background, every shape, every size. And I think that's what's another thing that's really cool and special about this group, is they just genuinely enjoy being around each other outside the game.
It's hard to call it a team unless you have that kind of.
For sure.
And that will drive apart a team if you don't have some, gel together like that. That's almost
For sure.
the most important part of it, because nothing else really gets accomplished until you have that kind of
Agreed,
consistency
for sure.
in the team. So, Jack, you come from the middle school, and you were the AD over there, correct?
Yeah.
What's the biggest differences between the AD over there and the AD here that you're finding, especially with dealing high-profile coaches like Coach Korsiak here?
Yeah, dealing with some of these egos, I tell you what. No, Matt's about the least amount of ego guy you could meet, especially as successful as he's been. But the biggest difference is just the amount, right? I mean, you're dealing with, at the middle school level, you've only got football, sideline cheer, cross country, and volleyball in the fall. And so then you look at what we've got rolling, and I've got 8 varsity sports running right now.
Wow.
And
Double.
most of them have JVs and freshmen.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot more things going on. But Annie's back at the school just holding the fort down with me being able to be here, even scrambling last minute with our freshman game getting canceled yesterday to now we're playing tomorrow night at 6 o'clock at home.
Wow.
You guys probably didn't even know that.
We didn't.
No. Who are we playing?
Our freshman team will be playing Schoolcraft's JV team. So they sent something out yesterday about, I don't know, it was probably 4:30 or so, and said they needed a game. I jumped on it right away. And Conrad isn't able to get out of the AD seat just yet because he's got to run the game tomorrow night for us.
Right.
And everybody just stepping up. Annie jumped on workers right away. Mike Max, yeah, I'm in. Called Dan Vandermeide, said, hey, we're hosting. You available? He jumped all over it. And our freshman coach Jamie Millis has been awesome with trying to keep the kids interested in what's going on, because they work their tails off to get a game pulled out from underneath of them 2 hours before kickoff.
Yeah.
And he's even stepping up and asking some dads to do chain gang and those sorts of things. So I know it's cliche, it takes a village, right? But being a new AD at Mona Shores, and even at Holton, I mean, I still only had half the amount of sports that we have here. You know, the support that I've received from Jennifer, from the coaches, and even Annie and things, I mean, it's made it doesn't feel as much of a big burden as you would think, going from 4 to double the amount of sports in 1 year. So
it sounds like you got a great supportive cast and people that are going to help you.
I know I'm going to forget names, so I probably shouldn't mention names like I have, but because I know I will forget somebody. But even the other varsity coaches, they know where I'm at right now, and so they're trying to handle some things on their own while they're back at home. You know, tennis has stuff going on, golf is going tomorrow. You know, all kinds of different things, and they just know. They understand how great this trip is for not just our kids, but for the community as a whole. Just standing there watching everybody. Yeah. You know, you posted a nice picture of Gabby and your mom holding that flag, but you got Mama B out there waving the flag. I'm a little disappointed in her not breaking out the new one. That's about
I'm anxious to see it.
65 feet by 65 feet, but it's just been great, and everybody's jumped in to make it worth it.
That's fantastic.
Man, let's go over the injury bug.
Yeah.
I was with you all summer, conditioning and everything. We had some kids banged up. What's the status right now with starters, non-starters, everybody?
Yeah, so, you know, the double-edged sword with 34 guys, right?
Right.
You know, if the injury bug gets you, you get in trouble. So through the summer we had some wear and tear, I think. You know, Hayden Terpstra is probably the one that I can remember the most. Of being the latest one was during lacrosse.
Correct.
Kind of rolled his ankle and stretched some ligaments out, had to have surgery, and we weren't sure we'd get him back. And credit to him and his family, like, and his off-season stuff, like getting that ankle right. So he's back, and he had his first full week of practice, and it felt great. So that's awesome for us because he was a two-way starter for us last year. Luke Emmons is back after game 10 last year, tearing his ACL.
Yep.
Had knee surgery, had some complications. I think, you know, after the knee surgery, it went well, but then there was a meniscus issue where he had to go in and have it trimmed. So he's back. We finally got him. Andrew Baker had a hamstring issue after conditioning. He's back. I think the biggest loss right now is our 2-year starter, Trent Rosenthal, who
your heart's got to go out for that young man.
That's hard to talk about because of what last year, what he went through with. I mean, people don't even might not know this. You know, he had injuries last year, but the biggest one is he had a parasite where he lost 40 pounds from our first game in August to, you know, Forest Hill. I think he went from 210 to 165 or something, playing Forest Hill Central, and couldn't get that figured out. And then his hip with, you know, the bone spur thing. And then, so now we're like super stoked. A senior year, he's back and playing great, and breaks his hand and his foot. Bone in his hand, bone in his foot. So, but he's a resilient kid, and he's here with us today. You know, he had surgery yesterday on his hand.
He
yesterday.
did. He sat out his sophomore year as well with an injury. He didn't play, but he never missed a practice.
Yeah,
that's the kind of kids that we have at Mona
and it's
Shores.
inspired. I mean, I get goosebumps thinking about it right now when you have kids like that, and what other kids see him.
Right.
That's probably the reason he is getting beat up, because the kid just lays everything out on the line every play. I mean,
we have him back by the end of the season?
It's a 3 to 4 weeks, probably 4, I would say, with in the boot. He, you know, surgery on his hand, he can cast that up, so that's not the biggest thing. The biggest thing is the foot and making sure he can put pressure on that and run around. And so I told him, you know, I said, you know, you can be you know, believe in what you believe in, but I said, you know, God never makes mistakes. So this is a test, and I said, wouldn't it be awesome? And I'd probably I'm sure you'd say yes in a heartbeat if it said, all right, you're going to be out for 6 weeks, but when you come back, you're going to play your butt off and win a state championship. Would you do that? He said, I'd do it in a heartbeat. So
yeah, absolutely.
that's kind of what we're working at, and you know, kind of keeping him motivated, and he motivates us as well.
Lincoln High School.
Yeah.
1-0, won the first game of the year. We are loaded on the front end of our schedule this year. You know, you got Lincoln, you got Rockford, you got Puffer, and you got Muskegon. Now, 3 out of the 4 are at home.
Yeah.
What a blessing that is
Sure.
to be at home. Let's talk about the front end of the schedule. I mean, you've got some tough. Lincoln 1-0. Muskegon went to the state championship. You got Rockford, who's right. Fill us in a
with
little
60
bit.
One
kids.
lost team
Jeez.
last
Yeah.
year, yeah. So we can't really plan that. Obviously, we can control like our first 2 games, but
Oh,
even
right.
then, we can't really control if it's home or away. And it just kind of fell in the cards like that. And
It's not all bad, though, brother.
no,
it's
you know,
not
to
all
have-
bad.
to have- I mean, we had to go to those places. Those are tough places to win.
Oh, absolutely.
And so now, we get those home games, and you can say what you want. And I don't know if so much the Friday night matters, but it's the traveling and stuff like that. So it's nice to be at home and be
Sure.
comfortable and know that you're playing there. And what a cool Friday night those 3 weeks will be.
Oh, my
we
God,
start
yeah.
with this, and then we
Yeah.
get into those 3 weeks, and that'll kind of give us a great measuring stick of where we are or where we want to be.
Sure.
And, you're not going to win a state championship in the beginning of the season, so what a great test for us, and we get to do it at home.
Division II has changed quite a bit as well as far as teams in it. Now you have Caledonia, who
Ford
went,
Field team.
who's now from 1 to 2. You got Muskegon, who's from 3 to
Ford
2.
Field team, yeah.
The gauntlet.
Getting out of West Michigan.
Forest Hill Central's 3 now, so
Yeah.
they were 2, yeah.
Right, but getting out of West Michigan
Yeah,
is
the
going to be
district, right.
really, really hard.
Yeah, it's not. It's
And it's
all.
always hard, don't get me wrong, but this year especially,
Yeah.
I mean, you've got powers now.
It's going to
you-
be exciting football. coming
For
up.
sure, but
Yeah.
you kind of look around, and no disrespect, I don't mean that, but I do
No.
think football in this area is something special.
Oh, without a question.
Whether it's Division 8 or Division 2, it's pretty special in the West Michigan area. And then so you look at some other areas that they get the district games they have, and then you look at our district games.
Yeah.
I mean, these two. Muskegon, Caledonia, Muskegon, Mona Shores. Caledonia, Muskegon. I mean, those teams could be playing for a state championship. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
without
They're
a
all-
question,
and,
yeah.
and that they have to battle each other that early. It is what it is. I don't think it'll ever change. I don't know how to change it with, logistics and travel and stuff like that. But it's just, you got to beat them anyways, right? If you want to get
You got to beat them, and eventually you're going to face them too. So you might as well beat them right away.
Yeah.
I was talking to Freddie Townsend, the AD at Caledonia, and he's thinking that, we're going to be better this year than last year. So, and they went to Fort Field,
Yeah.
similar to, what you're building here or what you have built here. You're still going to have to go through Mona Shores. You're still going to have to go through Muskegon. You're still going to have to go through these teams, whether it's now or later.
Yeah. But it's exciting.
It
I'd
is.
rather
Yeah.
have it
It's
that way
exciting
than just
football.
kind of walking through stuff.
15
and not-
years ago.
Yep.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming in here and doing this interview. It's always a pleasure to have you guys on and have the new AD on here. This is your
Yep.
first interview with us, I think, that you've
It
done.
is.
So
Yep,
It is.
and we'll
Matt,
have
you're-
you on at Lincoln as well with the coach and the AD there, just sharing some stuff. Hopefully we'll get you real quick.
And I've only had phone conversations with the AD there, but they just seem like really cool people.
They
are.
They're
They
just really
came over,
super inviting
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
welcoming, and it's just a great way to make something like this because of all the nerves, because of all the stress, and it helps when the other side is more than welcome.
100 years of being a high school this
Oh, wow.
year.
I didn't
So,
know that. That's cool.
yeah, so it's going to be special. Fellas, thank you so very
who do
much.
you have as captains coming to
Oh,
sit
yeah.
with us in the next interview?
Oh,
Have
so
you-
Yeah,
we'll,
yeah,
we'll
who do you
have,
want to come?
Yeah, so we'll have. I'd like to have Trent, even though he's not a captain. Trent Rosenthal.
Oh,
to
yeah,
come
yeah.
to
Yep,
this
yeah,
one.
absolutely.
Luke Emmons, Hayden Terpstra, and help me out here, Andrew Baker. if
Yep.
That's possible.
Why don't you send pick
You got it.
two
You got
and
it.
back with
Yeah,
you?
we got room for two.
You
So
got
Yep,
it, yeah,
we
yeah.
got
Send
room
me
to
the
do.
space for
Guys,
sure.
thank you so very
You
much
bet.
as always. We
Absolutely.
look forward to
We're gonna-
broadcasting the game.
We're going to take another quick break. We're going to get set up for our next interview, and thank you for watching Sailor Nation Sports Network. We'll be right back.
All right, guys.
Good. Nice work. Yeah. Yep.
From truck beds to bed beds, we've got your home and auto covered. Combine your home and auto with Lake Michigan Insurance Agency, and you could save $650. That's like 325 gallons of gas, or 21 sets of comfy sheets. So, trust our experts to find the perfect amount of coverage for you, making sure you're covered when you need it and how you need it. We shop a variety of insurance providers, industry leaders like Citizens and Frankenmuth Insurance, to make sure you get the highest quality coverage at the lowest possible rate. In Muskegon County, trust Ryan Rozicki to start a quote for you today. Visit Ryan at our Norton Avenue office in the Park Place Shopping Center near Goodwill and Pites and Courts Restaurant, or visit lmcu.org/insurance to get started.
Here, Andrew, you get to sit right here.
Lakeside Cafe is a family-run business that started in 2013. Located right off the shores of Lake Michigan, it features many delicious meals along with excellent service and a family-friendly atmosphere. Breakfast is served all day, open 7 days a week. Both dine-in and takeout available. Quality ingredients, endless options. Lakeside Cafe. Looking to buy or sell? Look no further than our broadcast booth sponsor, John Vandervelde at Nexus Realty. Give him a call at 231-759-3634 or go see him at 880 West Broadway Avenue in Muskegon. Nexus Realty, team-based real estate professionals.
It's just, I think that means ceiling now.
Trophy House is your #1 source for fan gear, corporate and team sales, trophies, awards, and more. Visit them in their new showroom, right next door from their old showroom on Henry Street. If it can be logoed, they're your resource. Your brand is their business. Yeah, you can put it right up.
Right up to your
so you can
mouth.
get it. Yep.
Check,
Right.
check.
Yep.
There you go. Andrew, can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
Hopefully. You're live right now.
Ready.
He's just dying to be on.
We're going to count in, and then Nick's going to start talking. And go ahead and introduce him.
Yep.
What you get in, so. All right, you guys ready?
Camera.
All right, here we go.
Are you ready?
Wait to
Kevin?
look up there.
Take a look up there. And look at it.
All right, I'm going to count
The
you
world's
guys in.
watching.
5. Ready, Kevin? 5, 4, 3, 2.
Want to welcome everyone back. Sailor Nation Sports live here on the Lake Express. We're crossing the Big Pond, Lake Michigan, on our way to Milwaukee, and then heading north to Manitowoc to play Lincoln High School tonight. And we are blessed with a couple players right here.
Yes, we are. Tell us who
We've got Trent Rosenthal, the wounded warrior that he is, but we love him. And Andrew Baker, co-captain. Welcome, fellas.
Thanks
Thank
you.
for joining us.
Well, good.
What do you think of the boat ride so far?
It's nice in here. Up there it was pretty windy and cold, but coming down here it's a lot better.
Yeah.
Is this your first time on Lake Express?
I was on it when I was a lot younger, but I don't really remember
Yeah.
it. So
What
pretty
about you?
much.
Yeah, I've never been on.
I've never been on it either, so this is pretty true.
Not seasick, are you?
Not yet.
yet?
Not yet. No.
All right, before we
Hopefully
get to
stay
get
away.
with Andrew, let's get with you. Tell us what happened, brother, because you, trust me, my heart goes out to you. I didn't get to have a chance to coach you your sophomore year. You were banged up. Little
Yeah.
banged up last year. What happened this year?
Well, about a week ago at practice, I broke my hand, I guess. Then I just played on it, and then in the scrimmage, I broke my foot. So,
So both in the scrimmages.
well, the hand was at practice before,
Okay,
and maybe
gotcha.
the foot too. I don't really know.
Yeah, right.
So then I had surgery on my hand yesterday.
Okay. Dr. Recknagel is doing
Nope, it was
Oh.
Dr. Bowman.
Oh, okay.
She's a great doctor.
All right, wonderful. And prognosis, what are we looking at for rehab and timelines?
She said minimum 4 weeks to be back playing for both of them. So
Okay.
I can play with like a club on the fist.
Yep, right.
wrap it
I
all
did
up,
that for
yeah.
kids. Yep. We pad
Yep.
you up and play.
What are you doing? Obviously, traveling with the team is one way to do it, but what are you doing to stay involved? You being at the practices,
Yeah.
doing what you can.
Yeah,
you know,
for
that
sure.
kind of
Just
stuff?
being with the guys at practice, still talking to all of them, trying to help out as much as I can.
Do you
at
working
my
with the
position.
linebackers primarily a little bit?
Yeah, yep.
Trent?
Yep, with the Solomon coming up.
Yep,
He's
right.
taking my spot. He'll do
Yep.
a great job.
Oh,
there,
he'll do a
for
good
sure.
job. Yep, exactly.
You know, we talked with Coach Koziak in the previous interview about depth, you know, and losing, you know, big-time starters like that to the injury
Right.
bug. Having a few people that are able to step up, like Solomon in this
Mhm.
example for you, is critical. But also
is.
having people to help mentor them from that
Right.
position is also critical as well. So
Yep.
do you like that role? I mean, obviously you'd rather be out there in the field. but-
Yeah, I mean, I do, but I also see, like, I'd rather be helping out than not. Like, like the destination is still in sight. Like,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
gotta help out, and I'll be back.
Yep.
So
And you'll be back there at the very critical time going into
Oh,
the
yeah.
playoffs, so, assuming
Sir.
we get there and everything else. So
So, Andrew, been elevated here, buddy. You're a co-captain now. Congratulations. Your
Thank
teammates have enough respect for you, and as I do as well, having coached you, that you're a co-captain. Fill us in. How's it feel being a co-captain first?
It's been good. I mean, this off season, I feel like me, Luke, Hayden, Trent. I mean, we've got a good amount of leaders on our team. It's just been nice having people like that. I think that's a strength for us this year.
Yeah, yeah. So you're a transfer. You were at Spring Lake for a while, and then you transferred up here.
Yeah.
You enjoy being at Mona Shores?
Yeah, end of freshman year, I came to Shores, and then
Oh, okay.
I've really liked it since I have been. No regrets about it.
No.
were you in the football program over at Spring Lake?
Yeah. It's a little bit different of a program over there, but it's everything about Shores. I mean, I love
Yeah.
the football program is just different than anywhere else, and something that you don't get at a lot of schools.
Well, it's a little higher profile, number one.
Yeah.
You know, state championships here, having Coach Kozak coming from Muskegon. He worked at Heights as well. He's developed a culture, and the guys have bought into it.
Yeah.
Tell us something about the shirts that you guys are wearing right now.
So every year we do the work shirts, obviously, you know,
Uh-huh.
when we're going to stuff with the team or just going to practice or something like that. But this year, instead of just putting our last name on it, they put someone who was blue collar in your family.
Right.
So like mine's my grandpa. He worked on the railroad, so like
Oh, okay.
we've all got someone's name on our shirt who's blue collar. So really, we've got that mentality more when you see that name on it.
yeah,
oh,
it kinda
that's
just
what's
represents,
And
like, our
now
work
you've
ethic.
got Grandma on there. How are you?
Yeah, I don't know. My grandma, she I think she did a lot of smaller jobs to grind for her money, so that's kind of why I did it.
Oh,
Like, she
no,
worked
good
at
for you.
Meyer.
Yeah. Oh,
she,
yeah.
Was a waitress, and
Yeah.
I don't know. She just worked hard for her money. So.
You know,
Good for her.
I graduated Shores in '93, played football, and I can remember the football games, but honestly, this part of my life and everything that I've done going forward, I took more of the lessons that I learned out of playing football. What are you guys learning besides football when you're part of this team? Tell me what you're
Let's
learning.
start with you.
Honestly, I think it teaches us what a work ethic is. I feel like a lot of kids nowadays are kind of just shelling inside their own room. They don't want to get out there and do much. Football kind of forces us to get out the house, go do the weight room. I feel like we kind of know what it takes to be successful. It kind of teaches us that.
Yeah. Other than being on your cell phone or being on your
Right,
computer.
right, yep.
Andrew, what about you? What do you
Yeah, I
like about
mean, just the amount of work we put in. I don't think anybody really realizes until you get into the
Oh,
program
yeah.
the amount of time, effort, work we put in. You know, we don't really. I mean, we get a couple weeks after the season, and then we're right back into it.
Then you're right back in. We're
So
right back
it's-
in the weight room.
Yeah, it's not like we're just coming out in August playing football. We're working for all year round, and
I was just gonna say that.
yeah, and it shows spending that much time with the people around you just shows how close we get.
Yeah, multiple sports, obviously. Luke, not Luke, Trent, what else do you play?
So I play kind of basketball and lacrosse, but I've been injured for
Yeah.
my last. I haven't been able to play basketball or lacrosse since freshman year because I've
No,
just been
right.
injured
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the off season.
Right.
Just trying to rehab it up.
You
So
put on some serious weight though from last year to this year, haven't you?
I did.
how
So
much did
yeah,
you-
I had a parasite. I lost 40 pounds
Right,
this season last
right.
year, so I dropped down to about 160.
That's what coach
Now
said.
I'm back up to 210. So
Good for you. You look good.
So
Weight
little,
rooms.
little basketball, little lacrosse. I know you
Yep.
play lacrosse as
Yeah.
well. Okay, is that the only other sport? that you
Yeah, I
play?
play lacrosse, and then we do powerlifting in the winter with each other, obviously. But yeah, lacrosse.
What's your favorite sport out of all of this?
it's got to be football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Football for sure.
Just the process. It's just different than any other
Yeah.
thing.
It's
any
not
other
even
sport.
just
Now-
how close we get for football. I mean, like no other sports like that.
Yeah, no, agreed. You put on some weight too. What are you up to now?
I'm
What
like-
were you last year?
I was like 195 last year, probably. I'm like
Yeah.
210 right now.
Yeah, so you put on some good weight, some good
Yeah.
muscle as well.
Yeah.
You're healthy now. You had a hammy that pulled.
Yeah, that was during conditioning
Yeah,
week.
right.
Yeah, it wasn't as serious as I thought it would be, but it was a little over 2 weeks ago. So
Right.
I haven't had any problems with it since.
feels
I started
good right
doing
now?
everything
It
this
feels
week.
good?
Yeah, and I've been good since.
Well, good. Tell us about Lincoln football. What are we going to see?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys kind of know from last year. I think
Same old type stuff that we're going to see.
Right. I mean, no, they pass a lot.
Yeah.
though.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, they switched up their whole
A
offense.
lot of
Oh.
empty, just
Yeah.
quads and stuff. So they're gonna. The
Empty
game that
and
we
quad?
saw, they had. So they play. Wisconsin plays. They start a week earlier, so
Right,
they played
they did.
one game already that we saw, and they threw it around a ton in that game. So it's something different. We don't see that a lot in West Michigan.
No.
So I think it's really good for us to see game one, just a lot of passing. I mean, they could switch it up and do like they did last year, but
Right.
we'll see.
Yeah. Last year it was a mixed bag, and then the second half was totally different.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not comparing the ships to Rockford, but Rockford has become a much more passing offense this year, I understand,
Yeah.
as well.
Oh,
So
really? Yeah.
opening it up against a passing team might just get you
Yeah.
ready for next week as well, too. So
Yeah,
for
for sure.
that.
A lot of the big games are going to be at Shores. You've got Rockford, you've got Muskegon, you've got Puffer.
Zealand West.
And Zealand West.
And Zealand West,
Yeah.
that's right. So you've got three of the tough teams at home. That's got to be fun.
Yeah, it's exciting because, I mean, last year all those games were away. It was
We're
the
all
complete
away.
opposite. So it's cool to have those at home this year and just, you
Well,
know.
especially in your senior year,
Yeah,
too.
for sure.
It's kind of DTW, deserve to win.
Oh yeah.
Tell me why you deserve to win tonight.
'Cause we
Or tomorrow night. Why do we deserve to win tomorrow night?
because we work harder than them. That's all there is to it.
All right,
Yeah.
you got to give me something different. Why do we deserve? And I get the work thing. Give me something different.
I mean, that motto he's really stuck into us this off season and stuff. Just all the times in the off season in practice. You know, if we're not doing something, that's gonna affect how the game goes. So we've got to deserve to win, obviously.
Sounds like a plan. Why don't you get us out of
Yeah,
here, buddy?
We're gonna take us, gentlemen. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you
being
very
on
much.
here. This is your first, your debut television opportunities. Maybe this will lead to some major.
Was Dad watching back at home?
Movie,
I hope.
movie contracts or
Hopefully.
something.
Should be.
Oh yeah.
He better be.
Yeah.
So when we come back, we're gonna actually we'll get a couple more of the captains up here.
So get Luke Skywalker and get Pittman, okay?
All right.
All right, sounds good, fellas. Thank you.
Yeah,
Good luck.
guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again. We're going to be back after a quick break. This is Sailor Nation Sports Network. Nice job, gentlemen. Yep.
From truck beds to bed beds, we've got your home and auto covered. Combine your home and auto with Lake Michigan Insurance Agency, and you could save $650. That's like 325 gallons of gas, or 21 sets of comfy sheets. So, trust our experts to find the perfect amount of coverage for you, making sure you're covered when you need it and how you need it. We shop a variety of insurance providers, industry leaders like Citizens and Frankenmuth Insurance, to make sure you get the highest quality coverage at the lowest possible rate. In Muskegon County, trust Ryan Rozicki to start a quote for you today. Visit Ryan at our Norton Avenue office in the Park Place Shopping Center near Goodwill and Pites and Courts Restaurant, or visit lmcu.org/insurance to get started. From truck beds to bed beds.
Lakeside Cafe is a family-run business that started in 2013. Located right off the shores of Lake Michigan, it features many delicious meals along with excellent service and a family-friendly atmosphere. Breakfast is served all day, open 7 days a week. Both dine-in and takeout available. Quality ingredients, endless options. Lakeside Cafe.
You know, let's switch that up. Actually, we better
You got it, baby.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to count us in. Kevin, you ready? 5, 4, 3, 2.
And we are back with a couple more captains here on Team 61. We've got Hayden Terpstra.
Hey, guys.
And we've got a rare 4-year starter, Luke Emmons. No, buddy, you're in rarefied country here because the only other 9th grader to start was
Tyree Jackson.
Yeah, right. And look where he is now.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
So, fellas, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us, guys.
You were hurt. Give me a medical status.
I got cleared by my doctor a couple weeks ago, and I'm doing pretty good now. And
How does it feel?
It's feeling really good. Over the past couple weeks, it's been a lot better, so I'm excited to get moving.
Are you in any special brace that you have to wear during the game or during practice, or just throw on a pair of socks and a pair of cleats and you're good?
No, I tape it up, but
Do you?
no brace.
No brace or anything. Are you still going through physical therapy?
Yeah.
Good. Wonderful. Tell us about your position. Where are we playing this year?
I'm playing slot receiver and safety.
Okay. Free safety?
Yeah.
Okay. And very familiar. Did that last year as well. Did it for me as well. So, well, you were quarterback for us right there. And big fella.
Yes.
What about you? You are now healthy.
Your injury, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, I tore the ACL against
In what
Traverse
game?
City Central.
Okay.
The first game of the playoffs last
Right.
year. I tore my ACL about 5 plays into the game, so that put
It
me
was
out.
that early.
Yeah, it was the 5th play of offense. I only got like 4 snaps, and then I got rolled up on and.
Did you
tore my
feel it
ACL.
go? I mean.
Yeah, I knew
Yeah.
I knew right away. Obviously, I never had it happen, but everybody
No,
knows
right,
what-
yeah.
You know, everybody knows the pop and everything.
Oh,
and
God,
got
yeah,
rolled up
I had
on,
it
was
pop.
Like,
Yep.
I knew, I was like, dang, season's over right there. But so that put me out, 8 months, whatever it was. So and then.
How long, though, until you had surgery? How long did you have to wait? You had to wait a
It
little
was only
while.
a month. It was
It was
exactly
about a month.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
yep.
after that, I had surgery, and then I was about 8 months is what the recovery is supposed to be. But about 6 months into that, I had another accident, and I have a slight tear in my meniscus that I had to get taken care of a
Well,
couple
how did
months
that
ago.
happen? What did you trip on something, for God's sake?
Here we go. This sounds
Yeah. No, I
Could be
What?
scouts over here. You
Well,
can't give them all the details.
Keepers, keepers. The guys from Central
just-
Michigan are listening to me right now here. You watch that scholarship go by.
Well, yeah. We'll
gotta
just
keep
say
it
we'll just
brief.
say I tripped. Yeah, I tripped, and I kind of rolled up on it again. So I had a little meniscus tear that I got cleaned up by Dr. Ecknagel. He cleaned that up for me. He's awesome. He got
Oh,
that
yeah,
taken
he's
care
great.
of.
Yep.
And I'm good to go. I've been
It
doing
feels
PT
good, though?
with Dan. It feels good. I started contact practice on Monday. So
Yep.
I'm feeling good. I'm ready to go.
You're starting.
I am. Yeah.
You're
that's
start,
it.
and you're good to clear start because I got to update my sheets and you guys were question marks right then at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah,
Well,
we're
you were
playing.
the big question mark.
Yeah, I'm playing.
You're playing all right.
I'm ready to go.
DTW
Mm-hmm.
deserve to win. Why do we deserve to win, Terp?
Because we just got a team of 34 dudes who want it that bad and they want to do it for each other and not for the name on the back of their jersey.
What have you learned about being DTW this year that we didn't have last year? So why do you deserve to beat Lincoln High School today? They're 1-0. You're 0. We're
Yeah.
nothing right now.
We deserve, like Terp said, we don't, we just work. Simple as that. We get in the weight room and we work. We come out to the practice field and we work. And the big part that comes with that, that I always tell these dudes, they've heard me say it all the time, and I'll keep on saying it for as long as the season goes, is that we all love each other, and that's
Yeah.
the biggest part in winning football games, in my opinion, is just loving
Coach
each other.
Koziak says you guys are really a close-knit group.
Absolutely.
And every group is close-knit, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
this is an exceptional group, kid. Now,
Mhm.
you've been around for 4 years.
Mhm.
How has football changed in the 4 years that you've been on the varsity?
How has football changed?
Yes, because you came in, wide-eyed. I'm this ninth
Yeah,
grader.
of course.
So now you're a senior co-captain.
Yeah, so obviously the game slowed down a lot for me. From
Oh,
being
yeah.
a freshman to now, it's slowed down a lot. But there's been, every year there's a different team dynamic. The freshman year we were fortunate enough. I was fortunate enough to be a part of a state championship team, which was awesome. So
Right.
that was with COVID and everything. So that was just, that was a really weird season, but it was awesome to win it at the end. But that, I was the young guy. I didn't. We didn't hang out. I'm
No, you were the
15,
baby of the team.
So I just,
Yeah.
go to practice, go home. They're not like my boys. I was friends, but we weren't like
Real
close.
tight and
then
everything like that.
The next year, I'm still the sophomore. We're not quite there. Last year, I knew all the dudes and I loved them all. And don't get me wrong, I love every dude I've ever played with. But this year, as we've progressed, it just feels like every single year we get closer and closer, and like we know each other better and that we trust each other more. So that's how it's changed, I think.
And was that you being literally the old man on the team, kind of like the grandfather of the team being around?
Don't you? You know
Yeah, I know about that, being a senior citizen right now, fellas. But I love you guys, dude, because I didn't get a chance to coach you, but we had a nice season.
Yeah.
You, Baker, all you guys. You were my last as a head coach. You will be my last team that I was a head coach for, and it was a great time. We lost some escape. We had things happen. Boy,
We tied Muskegon.
Yeah.
Well, we tied. I look at a tie. We
Don't
kissed
say
our
the L
sister.
word, come on.
Yeah, I know. But look at your dad over there. He's combing his hair. Look at him. Look at him. He's trying to look good over there.
Coach Davros, you're wandering.
Yeah, no. I'm just looking at
old
what
man
he
brain,
did.
come on.
No. But you're healthy. How is it varsity compared to JV compared to freshman football?
So I have been freshman year I won't really count that as getting pulled up. I got pulled up for the state championship.
Yeah,
game at
right.
City
Yeah,
Field.
right.
I got in a couple times in my sophomore.
Yep.
And then obviously I started my junior year. Sophomore, so for my JV season, it was a lot faster paced, even just from a jump to freshman to JV.
Yeah.
And even then, so it was 10 times that for going to JV to varsity. But it's all kind of just like taking a breath and not like trying to think too much, because you can't really think too much.
Just
when
do
you're
your
dealing with
job.
football. You have to just do your job.
Just do your job.
You can't
That's
do
what we
anybody
say.
else's job. That's why it's so important to trust your teammates.
Right.
Because if you try to do a job that you don't trust them to do, everything falls apart.
Everything falls apart, and then you don't do your job, and then coach will yell at you. Well, I thought we don't ask you to think, do we? Just do your job. Your job. Where are you starting at now, then?
I'm playing center tomorrow.
You're playing. Are you doing any defense right now, or are you
No,
just
they
going
won't let
one
me.
way?
They won't let me. Obviously I want to.
No.
I'd love to, help wherever
Who's
I can.
taking your job on the defensive spot?
Well, I didn't start last year, so it's not
Yeah,
necessarily
but you
taking
played
it.
some. Yeah, but
no,
you played. Yeah.
So we're gonna have Jeremiah Love and Jamari Taylor at
Got
the
some
1
big
and the
boys
3.
there.
So yeah, they both started. Those were our starters last year.
Yep.
So we've got size, strength, speed,
Experience.
and experience coming
Yeah.
back, which I'm super excited about with the front four.
Tell us about the names you're wearing on the front of your shirts there. You're doing that for someone else that's blue-collar worker that you're representing. Tell us about who that's
So this is for my papa, like short for Pops. Like he
got
used
a
to work
custom
blue
one.
collar, so I do it for
What
him.
did he do?
He worked in like a tire selling industry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And that was down in Holland, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, quick story before we get to the big fella right here.
Oh, he loves my grandparents.
Yeah, no. Listen, when he was just a little kid, every Friday we would go. A bunch of us would go to Cherokee, and he would be there. You were like what, 4, 5, 6?
I was so young.
They were, and the grandparents were there. His dad was there. Everybody was there, and they'd had this little corner booth. Good morning, how you doing? Give them everybody a hug, and I coached his dad at Reese Puffer.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's how old I am. So Luke Skywalker, so big fella right here, big fella right here now. Is I was talking to Baker, watch me right now. So it's going to be Luke Skywalker Emmons right here, baby, the big beast. Yeah, it almost looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No, that's you, old
No,
man. That's you
man.
with the wrinkles.
But Luke, you guys are going to have little nicknames for us.
Oh, we got to hear about
Yeah,
it.
you got to hear about my
Yeah,
dad.
all right. Let me hear about your dad. I forgot about that. Got so excited.
Yeah, I'm wearing this for my dad. I'm sure they already told you what the meaning with it and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm wearing this for my father. He works at Noak Machine Products.
Oh.
It's in Norton Shores.
Yep.
Sure.
He's worked there, I think he's going on like 22, 23 years or something. So he's
my.
worked there his whole life. And I mean, I'm sure he could have, taken another job that he liked, just, take a pay cut and do something he liked, but he's worked there his whole life for me and my 3 brothers and my mom, and he's always supported us and been there for us regardless of whether he's working or not.
Are you the baby of the family?
I'm number 3.
You're number 3.
Yeah, I
That
got
make
one
you-
younger brother.
You
2
got
older
one-
brothers.
Okay.
So you're
Football
that-
player too?
No.
No, I'm the only football player. All my brothers are huge. I hope they see
Seriously?
this.
Waste
I
of
hope they see
genetics.
this.
They are
God, I
all
hope-
giants.
yeah.
Owen and Daniel, I hope you see this. They will forever regret not playing football because my oldest brother is 6'5", and he was probably 285 in high school. My older brother, he's about 6'3", 6'4", and he has good size. And my younger brother is about 6'1", and he's around 280
way.
as well. And we're all huge. I'm the only one that played football.
Well,
Stuck
thank you
with
for.
it.
Well, I'm certainly glad.
Unbelievable. So I'm shaming them on the live right now for never playing football.
I'm getting scammed out on these.
Guys,
Right.
what do you think of this trophy?
This is a new trophy you guys
this
are going to
is.
be.
I was hoping you guys were going to ask about it.
Yeah.
So you guys did this.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
awesome. We
Salem
appreciate it.
Network, yeah.
Can't
Yeah.
wait to bring it back.
Whoever
Right.
wins,
Take it back to the house.
It could stay in
Yeah,
Manitowoc,
so you guys
or-
can bring it back. We
or-
changed
Yeah.
it around a
You
little
guys-
bit. Did the
That's
Lakers
awesome that
flip,
you guys
so-
did
yeah,
that. I love
so, yeah, we're going to do a pregame show there. It's going to be so everybody can see it. And you've got last year's there, so let's duplicate it at our house, guys.
Yeah,
thank
why
you
not?
so
Yeah,
very
thank
much.
you very
Yeah,
much.
Thank you
thank
guys
you
very
Good
much.
fellas, good.
Appreciate it.
All right,
Yeah,
Hayden, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Great
Yeah.
job.
Awesome.
Great job.
Thank you.
So this is going to wrap up the live show here for the Lake Express.
Oh, we
And
saved the best for last.
honestly, I can't believe how well this went. No,
Oh, I know
we
it.
have less technical issues in the middle of Lake
Oh, I
Michigan
know. It's been
sometimes
like
than we
Michigan that we do at our own place.
and
for
on
heaven's sake.
land. So Kim is going to sneak in here and say,
Yeah.
"Hi, Kim, in the best of the business here on the camera."
Clap it
Yep,
up.
yep.
Clap it
Kim,
up.
and thank you
Clap it
always.
up.
Those
Thank you,
that
sir.
have watched it,
Appreciate it.
Yeah, those that have watched, thanks for watching. Those that are going to be watching later in the year, anytime you want to watch it, that's going to be on the Sailor Nation Sports Network YouTube site. Make sure to sign up on the Sailor Nation Sports Network Facebook group for all sports updates and activities. And we're going to be back live here tomorrow
Isn't it cool?
from
It's
Manitowoc.
just like water, doesn't
and
it?
we will
Yeah,
see you
that-
then. We're looking forward to bringing
Yeah.
that game to you. Everybody
it
enjoy
dusted
the
off.
rest of your
Yeah.
day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Great.
All right, guys.
Sweet.